And I went in and said to my wife sitting there, honey, there's something written about that. Thus saith the Lord somewhere. I went in and got my book, looked into it. It said, it shall come to pass. 8 years later. Then, when I looked at it, I said, it's time now, honey. We must turn west. 2 days after that, standing in the room about 10 o'clock one morning, I went into the Spirit of God. I saw that little cluster of doves flying. Look, them little birds. You remember it.
Amen.
I seen 7 angels in the form of a pyramid come rushing into me. Said, turn westward.
Amen.
Go to Tucson, be 40 miles northeast. And you'll be picking a cocklebur or a bullheader, they call it there, off your clothes. Brother Fred Softman sitting there looking at me right now was there that morning. I'd forgot about it. I said a blast went off like an earthquake that shook pretty near everything there was in the country. I don't see how a man could survive it. I was scared. I stood at Phoenix. You all listening in tonight. Bear me record. I preached on the sermon. Sirs, what time is it? Where are we at? I went west. Many of you here got that tape. Many of you here heard it said a year or more before it happened. I went west wondering what was going to happen. One day I got a call from the Lord. I told my wife, I said, honey, my work is over. I didn't know. I said, God's probably finished with me now and I'll be going home. You go get with Billy. Take the children. God will make a way for you somehow. Go on, live true to God. See if the children get through school. Raise them in the admonition of God. She said, Bill, you don't know that's true. I said, no, but a man couldn't survive that. One morning, the Lord woke me up and said, get up there. I said, I took a piece of paper and my Bible. The wife said, where are you going? I said, I don't know. I'll tell you when I come back. I went up in the canyon, climbed plumb up where the eagles was flying around. I was watching some deer standing there, and I knelt down to pray and raised up my hands, and a sword struck my hand. I looked around and I thought, what's that? I'm not beside myself. Here's that sword in my hand, bright, shiny, glistening in the sun. I said, now there's not people in miles of me way up here in this canyon. Where could that come from? I heard a voice said, that's the king's sword.
Amen.
I said, a king knights a man with a sword. The voice come back and said, not a king's sword, but the king's sword.
Amen.
The word of the Lord. Said, fear not. It's only the third pull. It's the vindication of your ministry. I was going hunting with a friend, not knowing what was going to happen. And someone called me, the one that criticized me about that picture of the angel of the Lord, the one that took it. I had to go to Houston about his son, or he's going into death row. He was going to be killed in a few days. He met me there and threw his arms around me. He said, think the very man that I criticized comes to save my only son. You mean society give me what they call an Oscar or whatever you want to call it for saving a life? Then we went back. I went up in the mountain to hunt. There, Brother Fred and I, one morning when I walked down, I'd already got my javelina, and I looked and seen the place where we went. I said, Brother Fred, go over on that mountain early in the morning now, about to break a day, and I'll get on the other. I won't shoot at the hog, won't kill him, but if they start over this way, that herd, I'll shoot in front of them and run them back. Brother Fred went out there, and there's no hogs. He waved at me, and I went down in the canyon, some big chasms. Sun was just coming up. I come around the other side of the hill, not thinking nothing about the prophecies. Sat down, waiting, resting. I thought, what happened to those hogs? I picked up sat down like Indians do, cross-legged. I looked on my overhaul leg, and there was a bullheader. I picked it up, and I said, that's strange. Here I am about 40 miles northeast of Tucson. There's my little boy Joseph sitting there waiting for me. And as I started to look, I seen a herd of hogs come out about 1,000 yards from me up on a mountain. I threw the bullheader down. I said, I'll get him. I'll go get Brother Fred, and I'll hang up a piece of paper to let know which way to go on this old catilla here, and we'll get Brother Fred. And I started up the mountain running as hard as I could on the other side. All of a sudden, I thought somebody shot me. I never heard such a blast that shook the whole country. And when it did, standing before me was 7 angels in a cluster. I met Brother Fred and them a little later and said, what was that? I said, that was it. What are you going to do? Return home. For thus saith the Lord, the 7 mysteries that's been hid in the Bible all these years, these denominations and everything, God is going to open those 7 mysteries to us in the 7 seals. Amen. There was that circle coming up from the earth like a mist forming. When it did, it went plumb up into the mountain, began to circle on westward from the way it come. Science found it after a while 30 miles high and 25 miles across, just exactly in the circle of the pyramid. And the other day, standing there, turned the picture to the right, and there's Jesus, as He was in the 7 church ages. The white wig on, showing supreme deity. He's Alpha and Omega. He's the first and the last. He is the supreme judge of all eternity. Standing there to confirm the message of this hour. And there shall be light about the evening time. What's it all about? What was it? I went westward, up on that same mountain, passing up with Banks Woods there, said, throw up a rock. Say to Mr. Woods, thus saith the Lord. You'll see the glory of God. The very next day, he's standing there. A whirlwind came down and blasted the mountains out. Rocks cut the top of the trees off, about 3 or 4 feet above my head. Made 3 big blasts. The brothers come run over. There was about 15 men standing there, preachers and everything else. What was it? He said, what was it? I said, judgment is striking the west coast. About 2 days after that, the earthquake almost sunk Alaska. What is this light? Up on Sunset Mountain in the Coronado Forest of Arizona. What is this strange thing that happened up there? That the people's been driving east from west, picking up the rocks that laid around there where it struck, and every one rock has 3 corners on it that it tore off. The 3 are one. They're laying on desks, on paperweights across the nation. What is this strange thing up on Sunset Mountain in the Coronado Forest? Junior Jackson listening in. You remember the dream he had that I interpreted, going towards the setting of the sun. And this happened on Sunset Mountain. It's the evening time. Sunset time. The sunset message. To a setting of history. A setting of prophecy, rather, being fulfilled. And it shall be light at the evening time up on Sunset Mountain in the Coronado Forest, 40 miles north of Tucson. Get on the map and see Sunset Peak there. That's exactly where it happened. I never knew it till the other day. Everything that shall never die, it's constantly unrolling itself. From the very thing happening to the picture being Jesus standing looking at us, and now exactly on Sunset Mountain. And the sunset light, the evening light, has come. God vindicating Himself. What is it? It is the facts that God and Christ are one. The white, how many seen it? The white wig upon Him as we talked in Revelation 1. See? The supreme deity. Supreme authority. No other voice, no other God, no other nothing. In Him dwells the fullness of the Godhead bodily. The angels themselves was His wig. Amen.